Hey, what's up? This is Anti-Disestablishmentarianism here. For this video, we're taking a look at another Adidas jacket, but this time something which is quite different in the form of the Adidas White Mountaineering collab. Adidas White Mountaineering, I feel, has a little bit of a reputation for being Nike ACG's slightly less cool younger brother. Conceptually, something which is quite similar, mixing a mainstream sportswear brand with something a little bit more high-end, designed for outdoor technical performance and aesthetics. However, I do think they have a couple of differences in that Adidas White Mountaineering has, I think, a slightly more sort of outdoorsy, functional, maybe even slightly military look, whereas ACG is very much in that acronym camp of highly utilitarian, very sort of urban looking stuff. So since this coat is significantly cheaper than the Nike ACG equivalent, but still no small amount of money, let's check out exactly the sort of thing that you get for that price. Although this isn't exactly a feature-rich jacket, there are a couple of interesting things about it. Aside from the standard zipped pockets at a nice height for your hands, there's two higher zipped pockets as well, which are kind of semi-concealed, so the top half of the jacket does look quite clean, but there are still pockets in there as well. There are also drawstrings to the hood and to the bottom of the coat, so there are two different parts that you can cinch this in if you need a little bit of a closer fit, or if it's a particularly heavy downpour you don't want to get yourself wet. As you can see, this doesn't really have the crazy number of pockets that a Nike ACG or an acronym jacket might have, but I feel like that's not really the point of this coat. You're keeping it relatively minimal, quite clean with this. You're not going too overboard in the tech ninja kind of style. So don't expect to see any gravity pockets, jacket slings, anything like that, but then again, the price is so far below the kind of jacket that you would expect to see those things in, I don't really think that's too much of a downside. Unlike a lot of Adidas clothing, which seems to overdo it quite a lot in terms of the branding department, Adidas White Mountaineering have kept it relatively low-key with this one. There's a little Adidas White Mountaineering kind of emblem to the breast, which I'm not really too keen on the positioning because it's just a standard sort of place that you would normally see a logo. I think it would be cool if they mixed that up a bit, maybe put it somewhere else, or maybe did something a bit more interesting with the logo. But that is pretty much it. There's also a little Adidas White Mountaineering tab to the back as well, but you might not always see that because if you've got the hood down, then the hood will often block it. You'll also notice some branding to the sleeves, but this is quite subtle and it's sort of blended in, which I quite like. On one sleeve you've got a white 3 stripes, and on the other side you've got a more olive kind of tonal coloured 3 stripes. So in terms of branding, it's actually relatively minimal, and that's something that I quite like because the colouring of this jacket and those different kind of toned blocks I think look really nice. So it's definitely worth kind of maximising the space that they can take up and minimising the amount that your attention is drawn to any kind of branding. Normally the problem that I have with those olive colours is that they're too saturated and they look a bit sort of sicky, but the main colour of this is a bit more of a sort of foresty green colour, and it's only those little accents that are quite a strong olive. So I do think this is a really nice colour, and it's something, as I say, that I've been struggling to find. This is quite a thin Windbreaker type jacket, so don't expect it to have the performance of a Gore-Tex hardshell, but it does feel like there's a sort of multi-layered thing going on, so hopefully it does have some kind of water resistance as well as some breathability. This is quite a nice weight, it's quite a light jacket, which is good for this transitional autumn period where you never know if it might be raining or might suddenly get hot, so you want to be taking it on and off quite a lot. The fit of this seems to be a little bit on the boxy side. I also think it's a little bit oversized as well. So I bought this in a medium, whereas in most clothes I would probably buy a large, and the medium is a little bit of a kind of roomy fit on me. If I wanted something quite close, I could go down to a small, but to be honest, I think medium is probably the right sort of thing for me. So you might want to consider going down on your regular size. In terms of the overall look and feel of this jacket, I really do have to commend its looks. I think that those olive coloured details are really nice. I think they've got it spot on with those different colours, the 3 different olive tones working together. I think something which Adidas could have quite easily included, which would have given it a little bit more functionality, would have been a nice double zip for the main zip. I think that would have gone down quite well, and I think could have opened up this jacket to a few more interesting looks. But I do appreciate that this is supposed to be a light windbreaker as opposed to a true technical jacket, so I can't really dock it too many points for that. There are lots of things that I think could go well with a jacket like this. Obviously there's the rest of this collection, which is obviously designed to pair with it very nicely and certainly does look pretty good in the product shots. You could also look at other brands which use a neutral palette or quite a military techwear sort of thing quite nicely. I think a lot of Maharishi stuff would go quite well with this jacket, for example. In terms of footwear, although they have paired this with NMDs, which I think is a decent choice considering it's all part of the same White Mountaineering collab, you could definitely also look at a more sort of chunky bulky sneaker boot as well to kind of continue that military outdoor sportswear crossover type look that they're going for. In conclusion, I do think that I have quite a lot of good things to say about this jacket. Although it might not really be the most high performance or the most technical jacket in the world, it does seem to be of a decent quality, certainly better than that NMD one that I checked out a couple of weeks ago, and I really do think that they've got it spot on with the look. I do think it's a very cool looking jacket, whilst not being too flashy or over the top. If you do like the look of this jacket, then it's definitely worth checking out not only other pieces from this collection, but mainline White Mountaineering, some of the older collections as well from this collaboration, as well as the mainline Adidas stuff, so their NMD and their EQT collections. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Adidas and White Mountaineering have in store for future seasons. Maybe if they take some of that styling and the kind of futuristic look of their most recent NMD and EQT collections, but maybe apply that a little bit more to the White Mountaineering styling and that branding to kind of get rid of some of that slightly cringy EQT and NMD stuff, and maybe bring up the quality of those things a little bit, then I think Adidas could definitely have a winner on their hands. Let me know what you guys think of this jacket and the Adidas White Mountaineering collection in general. I appreciate that this maybe isn't sort of quite as hyped as the ACG stuff or kind of similar ranges, but I do think it's definitely worth considering. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, do remember to give it that sweet thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Shout out to the People's Elbow for the highest of techwear compliments. And to Aldo, I'm sorry I forgot to change the angle of the camera in the last video. Please accept my heartfelt apologies. It will not happen again, I promise. Time to plug the other videos. There's going to be some going up that way. You can see a related video, you can see most recent uploads, all that kind of thing. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, but you enjoyed this video, you maybe want to see some more coming up in the future, then you should hit that button over that side and you can check that out. And I'm going to plug my Instagram as well. I'm going to put a link down there somewhere. I do loads of tech-weary pictures and stuff. So if you want to check those out, @thisisantwon, go have a look.